Alright guys, welcome to a new video. I bet you guys are sick of all the Kawasaki dirt bikes coming in, but basically that's really all I can find for sale right now. They're tough to find projects, and I'm sure a lot of you have a hard time finding projects as well. If you guys have any projects that you want to donate to the channel or sell to me, I'm always open to taking in some quads or bikes from subscribers of the channel. So if you guys want to reach out through Instagram, 2_vintage_, send me a project or ship a project and I'll buy it from you. That works too. I'm always looking for cool projects. So if you guys have a cool one that's been sitting in the barn for a long time, want to get rid of it, let me know. But today's project is this 1984 Kawasaki KX125. I picked this up along with 3 other bikes a while back, and here's one of the bikes I picked up from them. KDX175, got that running perfect. If you guys haven't checked out that video, go check it out. I'll try to leave a little link up here for it. But that's a pretty cool bike. Really nice shape. Paid 350 bucks for it. And then here are the other ones right here. And then there's an RM over here still we have to work on. So this is the 3rd one I've worked on so far. So this one's a little rough. This one's the roughest of the 4 by far. I don't really know the history behind this one at all. All I know that it's a big project, it's missing a bunch of parts, and I'm not sure if it's locked up, I'm not sure if there's a piston in it, I'm not sure if the crank is good, I'm not sure about anything. It doesn't have a kick lever on it, so I have not even tried to turn this thing over. So it's going to be a mystery for both of us today. I don't know if it has spark. Looks like it might be missing a coil. Let's see. No, the coil is there. We've got a couple other parts, coils we can use too. Huh. Looks like the coil might not be there actually. But the gas tank's there, the seat's there, swing arm is there, shock is there, engine's there, and actually the carburetor is there. So if we do get this engine all loosened up, because I don't know if it's free or not, and we get it, to have compression, we can clean out this carburetor today and slap that on there. I think that's the correct carburetor for it. It says Mikuni. So it looks to be the right one. Yeah, that should be the right one. It's missing the whole air filter cover, and then the air filter. Shrouds on it are kind of janky on it. The seat's all torn up, isn't in the greatest shape. Missing the back fender, missing the front fender and the number plate. Looks like at one point it had a clutch cable on here, but it looks like the clutch is gone. Grips are like halfway off on it. Back tire is like so dry rotted, it's insane. Looks like the radiator's fine though. This one's a double radiator. Oh, this is a KX250. Dang, I didn't know it was a 250. Look at that. It looked like a KX125. That's pretty sweet. I just figured that out. It's a KX250. Look at the cylinder right there. Duh. So that's pretty cool. So this is a little bit different. It's a KX250. That is sweet. So it's a 1984 KX250. I thought the cylinder looked a little bit bigger. Oh, that makes me a lot happier. I'm sick of working on the KX125s. So this is a little different then. That's pretty cool. Alright, well that's good. And this one, so this bike does not have power valves. That's what kind of makes it different in 1984. So you can see there's no power valve system on this thing at all. So it's pretty interesting. Check out the back brake too. That's I don't think it's supposed to be like that. It's really high up. But yeah, so now that I know it's a KX250, I'm pretty happy about that. Looks like the petcock is missing the little lever. But yeah, the shocks are there, front wheels there, missing the whole brake setup though. So that kind of sucks, but what can you do? we can maybe rob some brakes off of a different parts bike. No, that bike doesn't have brakes either. So today we're gonna try to get the engine running. Gonna dig into it a little bit, see what's wrong with it, see why it stopped running and was kind of torn apart. It looks like maybe somebody parted it out at one point of all the good parts except for the engine. So we'll see. Let's start digging into it. It should be pretty fun. We can kind of probably see through. Oh, there's a piston in it. You can see through the cylinder, so I've got some hope that this thing might run today. You can see the piston in there. I don't know if there's, looks like it might be missing a ring. I might have some pistons we can use for it too, so. All right, let's dig into it and see what's going on with it. Not much to take off of this bike. It looks like we've got a bracket that can come off right there. So let's get this guy off. It looks like that's already loose, actually. Looks like the top end was off of it at one point, so it's probably not great. But who knows? Maybe it was just looked at and then people decided to put it back together. Not sure. Alright, those are off there. Alright, let's get that spark plug out. Let's see how it was running. That's loose too. Everything's loose on the top end. So, hopefully it wasn't blown up and then the guy just took it apart and then put it back together. So it looks like it was running pretty decent at one point. So that's good. It wasn't white or anything. So, we still have hope here. Let's try to find a kickstart lever and see if we can turn this thing over. Alright, so I could not find one kick lever that fits on these splines right here. They're kind of a weird pattern. So I tried some from the Kawasaki's. KDX might actually work on it. Maybe we'll take one off of here. I think the KDX will work. But I tried the KX125s. Those are too small. I tried the Honda CR250. That one's too big. And then the Suzuki RM125. The lever was like almost perfect, but the teeth weren't lined up correctly. So let's try to take the lever off the KDX and see if it'll fit on here. Alright, let's see if the lever from the KDX works here. Looks like it might. Oh yeah. Ah, it turns over. Don't want to pound it on too far right now. So, check this out. Feels pretty smooth in there too. Let's get some WD-40 going up to the piston there. It's really smooth in there. Alright, next we'll test for spark. Let's see, I don't think there's a coil on here anywhere. Looks like the CDI box is here. So that's good. Engine stop is on there. So let's see, where would the coil go? I think it goes right to here. Yeah, the coil was mounted right here. So let's see if we can find a coil for it. I'll have to rob one off of the KX125 for now. Alright, so I was looking around for a bit, found a KX125 coil. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we will try it. Looks like it has the same connections on it, so what's the worst that can happen here? Probably will work. Let's see, I think it goes like that. That through there. This goes onto the ground. This one plugs into here. Alright, here we go. What do you guys think? Is there going on in the inside of there? Oh, we need a bigger attachment for the spark plug. Let's get one of those. Alright, we've got a brand new plug. Let's see what happens. This is going to be interesting. Oh baby, we've got spark. That is sweet. Check that out. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. So we've got good spark. That's awesome. All right, we're gonna take off the head and the cylinder and inspect the piston. All right, let's get this thing off of here. Again, these are all loose as well. Either the head, the piston, or the cylinder. Something's gotta be up with it. Or it could have just been that they didn't have spark and just gave up on it. Not too sure. Moment of truth here. Let's see what happens. Is the piston cracked? Oh, there's one more bolt right here. Actually, two more. What does that piston look like? Oh, doesn't look too bad. Head's actually really nice. Doesn't look like there's any signs of it blowing up. No metal chunks or anything. No pits. Super smooth. So far, that's a good sign. That's a great sign. Alright, we still have hope. Piston looks pretty good. A little carbon buildup on there, but nothing too crazy. No chips out of the top of the cylinder yet. Everything looks pretty good. Looks like the piston rings are in there. At least one of them is. Alright. Let's get the cylinder off next. On there. See if that's loosened up. That's loose. Alright, let's get the cylinder off. Let's see what it looks like. So far, cylinder looks really good actually. Doesn't feel like there's any scratches in there. That's awesome. Alright, let's take a look at the piston. What's going on here? Oh, there are no piston rings in that. No rings on this bad boy. Oh, you can see it. The holes were drilled right there. Not too sure. But yeah, it's just missing the rings. That's really odd. Let's get that piston off of there and feel the play of the rod. Let's see. Actually, the rod feels good. Little play back and forth, but no up and down play. You don't want any up and down play on that rod, and that doesn't have any. A little side to side. About 2 millimeters side to side. No up and down that I can feel. So that looks pretty good. So we can find some rings for this thing. I think we would be set. I'm gonna measure the piston and the bore to make sure that's the right piston for it. It might not be. I'm looking for any damage. Doesn't look like there's any chipping or anything. Looks like the old gasket's still on there, partly. Yeah, I'm not seeing any damage to anything. Huh, that's very strange. I wonder why this thing was taken apart. Alright, we've got the digital caliper out. We're going to zero that out. Make sure that's at 0. We want to measure the piston a little bit further up from the skirt. So like right around here. You don't want to go from the top of the piston because that's where it's the thinnest and the least diameter. So down here we should get the best reading. Same with the cylinder. But let's just see if it matches up with the cylinder first here. So it looks like it's probably going to be 70. It's like 69.79, 69.88. So it's going to be probably right around 70. I bet you the stock bore is 70 millimeters. So we'll go over to the cylinder now. And same thing, we'll do the reading on there. So we're looking for around 70. Top is exactly what it needs to be. Bottom, yeah, it's same exact reading. So that piston's definitely for the cylinder. Exact same reading. You can see 69.95, so it's probably a 70 millimeter bore. I'm gonna go look that up online. Alright, so it looks like the stock bore was 70 millimeters. Just looked it up on eBay. And it looks like the piston is the same for the Kawasaki Takate, which I think I might have some extra rings and a piston. Alright, so I found this piston in the parts bin. It looks like part number 13001 1246. So this is the piston. It looks pretty good. Comes with the rings. Pretty similar to this one. You can see same size. We'll have to measure to make sure, but it looks pretty similar. I'm not sure if you can use these rings on here. We'll have to check. And I'm not sure if you can use this piston for this bike. I'll have to look up the part number and just make sure that matches up. Alright, so I did some research. It looks like this piston right here is 70 millimeters in diameter, and the one that I looked up for the Takate that I have extra is 67. So this one must have been for a Takate 3-wheeler, not a 4-wheeler. So you can see there's like a little bevel in there on this one. There wasn't that on the piston I have. I think a set of rings for this thing is like 30 bucks. So what we're gonna do is order up some rings, slap those on there because I think the piston looks fine. I don't see anything wrong with the piston, so we'll slap some rings on there and see what happens. We're going to look into the rest of the engine here. All right, let's get this cover off. I just want to make sure that the crank is perfect. See what this looks like in here. There we go. Oh, there's some oil pouring out of it. I don't know if that's supposed to be happening. Probably not. Look, there's a gasket on there. See the oil right there. So I'm guessing the crank seal is shot on this one. Probably should be oil pouring out of there. But another way to tell if the crank is shot or the crank bearings. See that movement? There's no movement back and forth, but there's movement that way, which I think is fine. There's a little movement there, but no side to side. If it moved side to side, those bearings would be junk in there. Yeah, so I think we're gonna be fine. We'll probably order up a crank seal for it right away too, because I don't like that oil leaking out of there. I'm pretty sure with this side crank seal you can replace it without having to split the cases. Hopefully. Sprocket's looking a little worn. It's not as bad as some of the other ones I've seen, but it's welded on, you can see. Completely welded on. I'm just trying to see if there's a gouge right there in the case here. So I'm just trying to see if that's cut through or not. It doesn't look like it. Looks like it's close though. It's missing the bolt for the clutch right here. So the bolt that holds the clutch down, because this little thing comes out. See how that pushes in like that? So there should be a bolt right here. So it's missing that as well. Back sprocket is horrible. I don't think I've ever seen a worse back sprocket than that. Look at how thin those are. They're so pointy and there's like barely anything left. So definitely needs a new back sprocket and probably a new chain and a front sprocket. Crank seal, rings. What else does this thing need? Oh, bushing for the swing arm. I think we'll check the oil next and see what that looks like. I'm guessing it's not great. Let's just check out the radiator here though. The fins all look good there. The bottom of here, it looks like it was... Oh no, that's just factory because there's another one on the other side. Fins all look perfect actually. Fins look good. No cracks in the radiator. That's awesome. So at least the radiators are fine. Let's get this carburetor off of here. Yeah, that's probably fine. Let's take a peek in there and see what that looks like. Take a little peek in the carburetor. Hopefully it's not too bad. Ooh, that one's kind of stripped out. That one is as well. Vice grips works great for this. Lock her into place here. Already moved. There we go. Take a look. A little gunk in there, not too bad. Looks like the float was repaired at one point. A lot of times these floats leak and they get gas in there and it weighs it down and it doesn't function properly. Let's see if we can get that out. But it feels like that might be a little bit heavier than it's supposed to be. For the main jet, looks like we're running a 310. Take that out of there. See if we can get that pilot out of there. Oh yeah. See what we're running for the pilot here. Looks like a 30 for the pilot. It's pretty small. Needle goes up and down in there. See what the air screw is set to. Sitting right here. So we're 1, 2, 3, exactly 3. Get that out of there. Alright, so we'll let this soak in the ultrasonic cleaner for a bit. Choke works. Alright, let's quick check the oil on this thing. I'm really not sure why this thing was neglected. All it needs is piston rings to run. I'm guessing maybe something in the lower end is off with it. So let's check and see if there's metal chunks in the oil. That's like the last case scenario. I don't know. It's really weird that somebody would just take the piston rings off and then put it back together. I'm not too sure what was going on or what was going through their head, because the crank checks out. Piston looks good. Everything looks, cylinder's perfect, no scratches. It's just very strange. So maybe there's a clue in the oil. So let's get the oil out of there. There's gotta be something in there. Oh, the oil drain plug was pretty loose. Let's see. Maybe that's the culprit. Probably not even any oil in it. Pretty smooth from what's left in there. Really not a whole lot in there. Huh. There's like nothing in there. No metal chunks at all. That's a good sign. Alright, so far everything checks out. So far all we really need is piston rings, probably a new coil for it, and a bushing and a crank seal, which I don't know if the crank seal's bad or not. It was just leaking a little oil, so it could just be from sitting. And then we just need to hone out the cylinder. I want to quick check the reeds in here, just to make sure those are good, so I know what to order. Let's see. Yeah, absolutely zero light going through there. Reeds look great. What was wrong with this thing? I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, no scratches on the cylinder. Huh. Very strange, and the head is perfect. Alright, well, I think that concludes the video for today. We're going to order up those parts, come back, slap it all together, and see if this big beast can fire up. It's an old one, 1984 250. It'll be sweet to hear this fire up for the first time. So stay tuned for next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video. And until next time, we are out.